Everything's trending. I don't know about this movie, however. It's called Good Sam. That's right. Why would it trend? Because it's actually about doing good things and being altruistic. I mean, what's with the Ozark thing? Putrid, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, did you know that people who call me from home, so up north, when I get a ring, it's like District 12, District 11. I've mentioned this before, just saying. Hunger Games. Let's check that one out. So, anyway, Good Sam is a great movie, and I always liken it to right as I was ending my cleaning business and getting ready to travel south and hunker down here in a good old Bible Belt. I started just, cutting clients left and right. But, like, unbeknownst to me, 5 of my male clients just took it upon themselves to say, yeah, you're like an 8. And I'm like, wow, okay. What does that mean? I mean, it came out of nowhere. And that's when you see things drop out of the sky and they make no sense, it's really God talking to you. It's saying, oh, humility, Angie, because you think you're a 10 in your brain, but most people see you as an 8. And then I saw Good Sam today, and it was so fantastic because I originally went into school. This is to help all you youngsters out, the millennials who are still seeking what they want to be when they grow up. And I went in as a journalism major because I knew I could write. I was writing from the heart. It was like I want to express myself and everything that I believe in, blah, blah, blah. Well, I get there and I have dyslexia, but I didn't know it until I just start bombing all my tests. And then I go to the, conference center, and the counselor is like, oh, you're one of the worst writers we've ever seen. And I'm like, well, that sucks. So I just went to the next best thing, which was psychology. And then I did dance as my double major because I wanted to be a dance therapist. I wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. I wanted to go on the West Coast. I wanted to be the whole California girl laying on the beach all the time. Well, when I was taking my dance courses, there was this kind of like freakazoid teacher. I won't mention her name because I think she's tenured, but she was like, and do all of this yoga stuff. And I was like, wow, really? I can't stand it. You're making it spiritual. It's freaking me out. Can you please not do that? And she was like, I'm sorry, but you can't separate the spirit from yoga. So true. And I was like, wow, this is scary. I can't do it. I wasn't a Christian yet, but I was like, I got to go to the dean. So I went to the dean and I was like, Dean, what's up? Like, can she just not make it spiritual? And he's like, yoga is like a spiritual thing. And I'm like, ooh, not for me. Like, I was scared. Like, not for me. So I said, what am I going to do? And he's like, you're going to have to change your major. And I'm like, no problemo. So I bumped that down to a minor, and then I graduate on time. Fantastic, right? So did autistic therapy. That was snuffed because of, the system at large. And I find myself all these, different venues, being a nurse. That didn't work because of vaccines. So here I am 20 years later. Hallelujah. I am writing on my blog, taking off like a wild banshee, and I'm able to write about the psychosomatic illness that I've recovered from and all these kinds of things that come up from living in abusive environments and or not really knowing who you are identity-wise. And I'm using dance therapy, I'm using IFS therapy, I'm writing all the time, and basically the whole background is psychological. Tell me God ain't good. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so here we are back at the ranch. Tonight I'm watching Good Sam, and this chick's about an 8. She's about an 8. I'm looking at her, and she's an Indian or whatever, and she's got the good dark skin, and I'm like, she's about an 8. But her tenacity was so, like, heart pumping because I was like, dude, this is me jumping through the screen. And of course I have neighbors, but I'm screaming at the television because I'm like, oh my God, this is like, you go girl. And you find yourself championing people who actually make it where you failed. And that's the focus of this message, because it's like when you can finally surrender all your hopes and dreams, and you're like, you got it in you, no one can take it from you because God gave it to you. And I love the hard-ons out there with their muscle cars. I'm so sorry. I just think that's really remedial. And they're irritating me right now. That was a sidebar. Oh, a squirrel. Anyway, so when you see other people that are doing the things that you actually did not get to come to pass in your life, you didn't get to see it through to the end, let me just say that's an example of something you get to pray back into your life, because there are a million things that I've tried once and not really succeeded at. But when I try and try again and I get back up and I'm like, oh, let's try it from a different angle, I have success. And in this movie, Good Sam, it's on Netflix. I can't show you a clip because they're going to flag me once again on Facebook and social media. We can't do that. But she was like, wait a minute, there's a manipulative smell here. I can sniff it out, and somebody's not on the up and up. And that's where it is for me, first and foremost. If I can detect that you are laced with any kind of deception, you're not pretty much going to be around me in a close proximity. I'm going to cut that cord really quick. Why? Because I can. Because it says that I will not cast my pearls before swine. Because it says that I will guard my heart in all my ways. Because it says in, what is it, Job 12:22 and Daniel 2:22, could be reversed, who knows, because I have dyslexia, right? That the Lord will always reveal his light in a dark place. And so that means trust yourself. It doesn't matter if somebody thinks you're a 10 or somebody thinks you're a 5. Oh, we have to talk over the those muscle cars. Okay. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because what God's gifted you with is what you are meant to purpose to complete the call on your life, because you're leaving your imprint. So just like we all have our own fingerprints, right? And there's no two people that are the same. Even they're trying to do the whole voice recognition and eye recognition, all that crap. You are not a duplicate. You are original. So if somebody else wants to call you an 8, guess what? Somebody else is going to call you a 10. I believe in God the Father's eyes, we're all 10s. We don't have blemish. We don't have anything that could be marked against us. We could have made a million mistakes, and you know what? They all become lessons. And not for the hardship, suffering part crap. It's for the, let's over exceed. Let's let God's glory shine on us so that, you know what? We're so surrendered that we don't care what other people think of us. We get to share a story, and we get to be that journalist of everyday routine. And we get to say, hey, guess what? I talk to God all day long, and he's really encouraged by the times. Even though the predicament of the pandemic is going to be also scary, I don't have to worry because my God's got me. This time has already been prophesied in the Bible. So I'm assured that I have a way out. I'm assured that, yes, I'm going to suffer, but I'm so much more excited because the person I was just a few years ago is not who I am today. So be encouraged, because however we see ourselves isn't always how other people see us. And we have a story to share. Stories will always outweigh statistics. So if you're not a journalism major, or you're not a writer, or you're not whatever you thought you were supposed to be who you are right now. And you get to pick back up what you think you lost, and you get to claim stake on it. Say, hey, I won all that too. Because these are wonderful times. I know it looks scary, but 2020 is a new decade. So you get to declare and decree that this is your time, and it is now. So you're a 10 in my book, and I don't care if anybody else has called you an 8 or thereafter. You're a 10, my friend.